Following the successful launch of the new DC universe with Superman, Supergirl arrives as the next major chapter, shifting the spotlight from the optimistic Man of Steel to his more complicated cousin Kara Zor-El. Directed by Craig Gillespie, Supergirl attempts to take the character in a different direction than her cousin, presenting Kara as a damaged, rebellious hero who is struggling with the trauma of her past while trying to figure out what kind of person she wants to become. I remember the original Supergirl movie, which I watched over and over again as a kid, and although I prefer heroes more hopeful, I was interested to see this take on the character. The result is a film that has plenty of interesting ideas, some genuinely exciting performances, and impressive world building, but it never quite reaches the heights it clearly wants to achieve. Supergirl is not a terrible movie like some reviews have said, but it is also not a game changer. Instead, it lands somewhere in the middle, an entertaining but uneven space adventure. The story picks up right after the events of Superman, where Kara has left Earth and travelled into the Red Sun solar system looking for an escape from her responsibilities. Unlike her cousin Kal-El, who embraces the hope and optimism of being Superman, Kara is carrying years of pain and isolation. When her dog Krypto is poisoned by a mysterious villain, she is forced into a mission to find a cure. Along the way, she crosses paths with Ruthie, a young girl seeking revenge against the same person responsible for destroying her family. The two unlikely companions set across the galaxy in search of justice. On paper, the premise has a lot of potential. A broken hero being forced to rediscover her purpose is a strong foundation, and Kara's struggle with becoming the person she's supposed to be could have created a deeply emotional superhero story. Unfortunately, the movie never fully explores those ideas as much as it should. The emotional core is there, but it often gets buried underneath fairly standard sci-fi adventure. Millie Alcock's performance as Kara is one of the strongest parts of the film. She brings a messy, unpredictable energy to the character, making this version of Supergirl feel very different from previous interpretations. Kara is not immediately the perfect hero or that likable for much of the film. She is angry, reckless, and trying to avoid confronting her own trauma. Alcock does a great job showing the conflict within the character, but the script does not always give her enough material to work with. The biggest issue is that Kara's character arc doesn't feel as satisfying as it should. The movie wants to tell a story about someone learning to embrace their heroic potential, but the transformation feels rushed. By the end, there are moments where you understand where the film wants to take her, but the emotional payoff doesn't completely land. Interestingly, some of the most compelling moments come from Kara's past. The flashbacks exploring her childhood on Argo, the surviving remains of Krypton, provide a much more emotional and fascinating look into her character. I feel like Jason Momoa as Lobo should be one of the highlights of the film, and don't get me wrong, the fan favourite bounty hunter feels like a role that was made specifically for him. Momoa brings incredible energy, humour and unpredictability to the character. However, his character felt more like a plot device and fell flat for me. I would love to see him again in a future movie, but I'd also love to see him bring a bit more gravitas. As the audience, we're almost told that he's this dangerous alien who killed everyone on his planet, but he didn't feel like a threat at any point. He cracked jokes and kind of felt watered down. You can tell the influences on Supergirl almost immediately with Guardians of the Galaxy visuals and humour. The practical creature designs, costumes and alien environments are some of the best aspects of the movie, creating a visually interesting universe. The villains are where Supergirl struggles the most. The main antagonist, Krem of the Yellow Hills, has an impressive visual design and he's very unlikable, which is exactly what you'd want from the villain. But he does lack the depth or personality needed to become a truly great superhero villain. He almost comes across as the person you would go through to get to the final boss. The action sequences are enjoyable, but the film occasionally struggles with Supergirl's power. It's great to see her cut loose, but the film spends most of the time nerfing her powers with some plot device or another. We don't always get to see her fighting with the camera, cutting away as she flies around taking out the bad guys. It's not a major problem, but it would be nice to see her more in her element. Despite its flaws, Supergirl still has plenty to enjoy. The relationship between Kara and Superman is one of the film's highlights. Their dynamic works because they represent two different experiences of being Kryptonian. Superman represents hope and moving forward, while Kara represents someone still carrying the scars of her past. Their scenes together are among the most heartfelt moments in the movie and leave you wanting to see more of this relationship. Ultimately though, Supergirl is a slightly frustrating film because there is so much potential throughout. Millie Alcock is a fantastic choice for the character, Jason Momoa's Lobo is entertaining, and the film's visual design proves that DC can create some truly unique worlds. However, the story never fully connects all these elements into something unforgettable. Supergirl is not a bad superhero movie, but it is a missed opportunity, I think. It has the foundation for a powerful story about trauma, identity, and finding hope again, yet it settles for a familiar sci-fi adventure. For fans of DC and space adventures, there will be plenty here to enjoy, but for a character as important as Supergirl, I feel like we could have had just a little bit more. Supergirl is out now in cinemas. Have you seen it yet? And what do you think about it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks as always for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, and until next time.